All right, so again, welcome. My name is Sonia Ford, just like the number, but two O's. And I am the Academic Success Coordinator for Laurel Ridge. And that means that I work with faculty and students and staff to try to bring it all together and help students to be the most successful that they can be. I work directly with our tutoring staff and also with our testing staff and some other things. I also do some tutoring myself, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. So we're going to just jump right in here. The presentation tonight is called Back to School and Back to Basics. So let's see, where's my navigation here? There we go. So what are the basics? So term, your first few weeks, or the first for the next few weeks, I guess, leading up to your first term as a student that you've never done before. Those are going to be the things that we refer to as the basics. Although we're going to have a little bit of a concentration on the technology because that seems to cause more students grief than anything else. And hi, Haley, good to see you. All right, so what are some examples of the basics then? Getting a student ID, getting a parking sticker, those are important, especially if you're going to be on campus at any of our locations. But, student IDs come in handy for a lot of things, like there's some fantastic discounts that you can get just by having a student ID. You might get a free ice cream cone, who knows? But a parking sticker is really important if you're going to be parking on campus at any of our locations. Our student IDs, because we just changed our name to Laurel Ridge, these are brand new IDs. And I personally have not gotten mine yet, but I'm looking forward to doing that. How do you get a student ID? Well, you go to the campus police at any of our locations or the front desk of any of our locations and just inquire about that, and they will point you in the right direction. Quick process, takes just a few minutes. When you're doing your parking sticker, if you haven't done that already, be sure to have some information about automobile, like what kind is it and what is the plate number. And that's the only information that you will need. Of course, you'll need another kind of ID to get your student ID to prove you are who you say you are and who your ID says you are going to be. How about buying books, visiting the bookstore? That's kind of a basic thing for going to college, but it's not, something, if you haven't done it before, you don't know exactly how to do that. Our bookstore at the Middletown campus is an in-person store. You can visit the store. Of course, the bookstore is accessible online, so you can log in and look up the books that you need. Your advisor will be a great person to help with that. If you haven't done that already, or if you need assistance with that, again, that's what this session is for. If you have particular questions about any of these things, make some notes, and at the end, we'll go back and we'll cover some of these things more in depth. Signing up for our emergency alerts, or I'm calling them Laurel alerts. That means that, if the school's going to close because there is bad weather, you want to know that before you get up and get dressed and, start driving toward the school. So signing up for those alerts will help you to be more informed in the case of any type of emergency. If a water main breaks and the campus will close, or if it's inclement weather, or any of those things. If you sign up, you can get text alerts or email alerts. And a little later, I'm going to show you a slide with a link. And of course, if we're recording and we're going to send out the PowerPoint that goes along with it, you will have that and be able to follow that link also, go right there. Or just type in emergency alert on our website. Multi-factor authenticate. What the heck is that? Well, that's a brand new thing also that students and employees are getting used to. When you're logging into any of our secure platforms like My Laurel Ridge, to get to Canvas, where you're taking classes, to your SIS, where all your personal information is housed, or any of those applications, you have to authenticate, meaning the system will kind of ping you to make sure that, again, you are who you say you are. You wouldn't want to, allow just anybody to access your courses or your personal information, obviously. So this is another layer of security. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how to set that up or where to find information if you haven't done that already. Of course, going to class, that's kind of a basic thing, right? Logging into Canvas, which is not just for online classes. Many of our courses, whether they are in person or hybrid, a mix between the two, or strictly online, have a Canvas course shell where information is delivered to students and where students can submit assignments and have discussions and all types of things. So we're going to talk a little bit more about how you do that and get logged into Canvas. And then, as I said, as a tutor and as a manager of the tutoring department, I want to make sure you know how to schedule a tutoring appointment, but not just for tutoring. Scheduling your advising appointments takes place through the same application called Navigate. And you may have heard about that, or you may have already used that if you've made an appointment with your advisor. But we're going to review that and talk a little bit about that also this evening. So let's see. Go to class. So we're going to start with that because that seems kind of like the most basic thing of going to college. But it's really not the most simple thing, right? Because there's a lot to consider, like where are you going to class? Are you going to a campus? Or are you going to class online? Or are you going to do a little bit of both, which is called hybrid? In SIS, where your course schedule is displayed or where you're registering for courses, the notes inside those course descriptions should tell you specifically whether that is a class that is going to meet in person, face-to-face, or online, or it is a hybrid course. Okay? Another couple of big words that we throw around in relation to going to class is synchronous or asynchronous. So if you think about those words, you might have, to me, when I think of that, I see a lot of people swimming in the pool at the same time, and they're doing synchronized swimming. So if I think about a synchronous class, that's everybody doing the same thing at the same time. So obviously that's like a traditional classroom when everybody comes to the classroom and they sit down in some chairs and they look at the instructor and the whiteboard. That is synchronous. Everybody's doing it all at the same time. The same applies if you are meeting with your instructor in, say, Zoom. If everyone is meeting at the same time and expected to log in at maybe 6 p.m., your instructor has a scheduled meeting for your class, that is synchronous. Asynchronous is just the opposite, right? That means no one is necessarily doing anything at the same time. It's, not scheduled, I guess. So your instructors are checking in with your course. They are monitoring your progress. They are grading your assignments. And as a student, you are completing those assignments. You're logging in and you're having discussions. You're submitting things, you're taking quizzes. But the time that you're doing that may be completely different than any of your classmates. If you were a night owl, maybe you're doing that at 2 a.m. Or maybe you're an early bird and you're in class doing your work at 6 a.m. That's completely up to you if you are part of a strictly online class with an asynchronous format or schedule. That means it's totally up to you. It doesn't have to match what anybody else is doing for your class. And then, of course, we have different lengths of sessions within the term. So we have one big semester, that is the fall semester. And then within that semester, we have different terms or different sessions. We have a 14-week session, a 12-week session, a 7-week session. Obviously, it's really important to know which one of those your course is being delivered in. If it's a 14-week or the first of the 7-week terms, those both are going to begin this fall on August 22nd. If it's a 12-week term, then obviously that's going to start 2 weeks later than that. And then everything is going to, kind of wrap up at the end of the term just before the winter holidays. Where do you find that information and how do you know what those dates are? Well, the academic calendar. So that is a really important document for you to have. I hope that you have already accessed that and downloaded that or printed it and put it on the refrigerator, whatever the case may be. That's going to be really, really important for you. If you aren't sure how to find the academic calendar, like most everything else, going directly to our website and using that search bar is really important. Make friends with that search bar. So if you just type in academic calendar, that's going to take you up to a page where there are calendars from the past and there are current calendars. So you have to know what the school year is that we are in. And we are currently going to be in the 2022-2023 school year. You probably know that already from being in high school and your other or your other college experiences or academic experiences. But our schedule always starts with fall and ends up in summer. So the very first term that you're going to see within that 22-23 calendar is fall 2022, and that's what we're about to enter. So please look that up at our website. Get yourself a copy of that academic calendar. It will show you the dates when the courses begin, the dates when they end, and also everything in between, like deadlines for making adjustments to your schedule or so on and so forth. It also indicates those times when the college is closed. There will be some holidays, like the Thanksgiving holiday. Generally, the entire week of Thanksgiving, students are not expected to attend their classes. So that doesn't mean you won't have anything that's due as soon as you come back, but it means that you are not required to post attendance during that week because the college is closed. So yeah, get yourself a copy of that academic calendar. You'll definitely be glad. So another way to go to class is to log into Canvas. Canvas is our learning management system. And that is just a fancy way of saying this is where our students go to class if they're online or hybrid, and they're expected to complete some of their assignments or activities inside that online environment. So Canvas is accessed through your My Laurel Ridge. Like most everything, you will have to log in and then go through that multi-factor authentication. And here we go. If you haven't set this up already, it's very, very important that you do. And going to our website and searching for MFA, which is short for multi-factor authentication, that is going to take you to a page full of resources with step-by-step instructions on how to set that up. There are a number of ways that you can set that up. You can get an code emailed to you. You can set that up with a direct app on your telephone, so it just pings you and you approve it. There are a lot of ways to do that. And there's also some information there for our instructional technology team and our information technology team for assistance if you have any trouble setting up that multi-factor authentication. Right? So again, search MFA on our website, and that will give you information about the multi-factor authentication. You can log into Canvas on a desktop of a computer, a laptop, desktop, whatever, same thing. On a computer, you can do that, or you can download the mobile app, which gives you a lot of accessibility and mobility for completing things within your class, or just looking at things. It's not unusual to see students reading from their phones. Obviously, we take our phones everywhere, but students often can check in, look at their grades as they get posted. The mobile app is an awesome thing to have, so definitely grab yourself that. Again, I will share this PowerPoint presentation with Mr. Chris Lambert, and he can use that, or he can include that in the recording that he posts, so that these will be active links if you view the if you view this PowerPoint presentation in slideshow mode, then these become active links, okay? And that would be one that you can click on to get information about downloading the mobile app. The most important thing that I have to say about Canvas is complete this tutorial. This is so, so important. Building with Canvas is a student tutorial, and I won't kid you, it is in depth. Okay, don't let that stop you. There's several weeks before classes start, and you can take a little bit at a time, but this is so important to the success of our students, and being able to navigate inside Canvas, know how to modify your settings so that you can get alerts when certain things happen in your class. And then obviously, how do I submit assignments? How do I make a post on a discussion board? All of those things are covered inside this tutorial. So please, please, if you do nothing else to prepare between now and the start of school, not even buy a packet of pencils or paper, do this tutorial. This is huge. And again, this is found inside Canvas. Once you, whoops, wrong way. Once you see, doggone it, look at that. Even if I click on the wrong side, it goes start going backwards. Where is that going? Sorry about that. These things happen. Here we go. This is where I was trying to get to. So when you, to get to that tutorial is actually a Canvas course. You'll log in to My Laurel Ridge, click on the Canvas icon, which is this red kind of bullseye looking thing. And then inside that, along with the icons for the classes that you will be taking in the fall, you will see that icon for the student tutorial for Canvas. Just click on that. The Canvas shell will open. So it's really kind of a tutorial that is a tutorial because you're going to use Canvas to learn about Canvas. So that's a cool thing. And you'll work through that. You'll just read through. It's very intuitive once you get inside, but you'll definitely be happy that you did. Here are a couple other things that you access through the My Laurel Ridge that will be imperative to your success. Checking your student email. This is another thing that I can't stress this enough. Email communication is going to be the primary mode of communication with your instructors. And there is an email system that's built right into Canvas. So it's easy to email your instructor directly inside Canvas, but you will need to check your student email also for communications that are coming from others aside from your professors or classmates. So you may get messages from student support services. Someone like myself may reach out, financial aid, anyone at the college that needs to get in touch with you, unless it is a very urgent matter. Chances are that at least the very first communication is going to come by email. Not saying we won't call you once in a while, but your email is going to be the primary means of communication. To get to your student email, yes, you log right into My Laurel Ridge and you look at all of those apps there. One of them is this beautiful red and white envelope that people have come to know as the Gmail, the Google email account. And in addition to Google Mail, Gmail, you have Google Drive, where you can create all of these Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides. All of those things are free and accessible to you, again, through your My Laurel Ridge portal. So the great thing about Google Docs is that you create them, and then as you work on them, they save automatically. You don't have to wonder if you were using the latest version. You're able to share that. You can always access it no matter where you are just by logging into your account. Back in the day, one of the kind of steps toward this in this portability of documents, we had flash drives, and everyone always lost their flash drive. And you're like, oh my gosh, I had my whole paper on my flash drive and now I lost my flash drive. Well, that doesn't happen anymore. And I know I'm being very dramatic, but This is bad. If you were ready to turn in your assignment and you lost your flash drive, terrible, terrible thing. So no longer do we have to worry about having a flash drive or having the most up-to-date version. You know, you're working on a thing at home and then you email it to yourself so that when you're at school, you can log in and then you can get it from your email and then you work on it some more. And then at home, it's not the right version anymore. All of those things are so confusing. But when you're using Google Docs or Microsoft Office 365, which you also have access to as a student, you get a free account for Microsoft 365. Both of those things live in the cloud. So as long as you are logging into your account, you have access to the document right where you left off. You don't have to worry, is it the latest version? And it's compatible, both of these, Google Docs and Microsoft Office. Those documents that you're creating are fully compatible with Canvas. So you don't have to make sure that you're downloading from the cloud to have it on your desktop to submit it through Canvas. You don't have to do that triangle type thing. If you have it in your account in Microsoft or Google, it's fully compatible. So when you're in Canvas and you're trying to submit an assignment, click a couple buttons, you'll figure out how to do that. Very, very simple. And the document will come right from your account in Google or Microsoft and submit as a document that your instructor will be able to open. Very, very easy. And again, I say easy because I know it and I've done it and I've helped students do it. The thing to remember is if you have any difficulty with anything, ask for help. And what I do in tutoring and what many of and some of our other tutors do is to help students with exactly these types of things. One of the subject areas that I tutor in, we call college computing. That means anything that you have to do with a computer that is, related to the college, whether that's Canvas, submitting assignments, creating assignments, any of that, I can assist. And this is how you would make an appointment with me or any of the other tutors at college. You would use Navigate Student, and guess where that's found? Right, through My Laurel Ridge. So you log in, and through that portal, you see this little icon. It kind of looks like the White House, I think, actually, with a little blue circle. And you click there and you go to your dashboard or your homepage, and you would click on appointments. Pretty easy, right? And then you say schedule new appointment, and you select tutoring and academic support, or you could, if you're trying to get connected with your advisor, you could select advising appointment. You select what you want to work on. In that next category, that would be, for me, time management or study skills or test taking strategies or college computing. Or for some of our other tutors, you can select the subject, like maybe I'm in English 111 and I want to talk about a paper, or I may want a paper review. That's an option. Maybe I'm an A&P student and I want to get help. So that's listed there too. So you choose your subject or your topic and then your date, and it will show you when the tutor is available. Once you make that appointment, you get a notification, you get reminded a day before and a text an hour before. So does the tutor. So the tutor's not going to forget either. And then you connect with that tutor in our tutoring Zoom room. And if you ever forget how to go through that, all of the instructions are on our website. And yes, with your friend, the search bar, you just look for tutoring, and it will take you right there to our tutoring web pages, and everything that I just described will be there in great detail about how to go about scheduling an appointment or where to just drop into that Zoom room and get help immediately from a tutor. If you have just a simple question, you're working on a math problem and you just need a real quick minute of help from a math tutor, just pop on in there and find out if a math tutor is available to help. If not, one of the tutors available there will help you to make an appointment with the next available tutor. Hypothetically, math, lots of math questions. So that always comes to my mind. We'll talk about it. So again, you need to sign up for those emergency alerts. And this is how you do it. You just text Laurel Alert, all one word, to this number, 226-787. And you'll get signed up for those alerts. And if you want to sign up for email alerts, again, there's more information, and you can visit emergency alerts. Again, just put emergency alert or alerts in the search bar, and it will take you to that page where you can sign up for email alerts as well as text alerts. Very important. So, not that you will likely be required to print a whole lot of things. If you're at a face-to-face course, chances are there's still going to be a Canvas page for that class where you could submit through the Canvas pages your assignments to your instructor, and your instructor will deliver back your grades and any feedback through that. Likely that will happen. But there could be some times when you would need to print. If you don't have a printer at home, no problem. We have a WIPA printing kiosk service at the campus, and you just create yourself an account. I think you get like $5 credit each new term to use toward printing, but you make yourself an account, and you can attach a bank card or credit card there so that you can pay for your prints. Here's some information on how to get customer service if you have any difficulty with that, but I recommend the best customer service that you're going to get is through our librarians and our library service folks. So just walk on into the library and you can get some help on setting up your WIPA system so that you can print. And there are always, there is a lot of information I can't possibly cram into 30 minutes available in the Laurel Ridge resources. Inside each Canvas course, in the left-hand side navigation, like second from bottom, I think, in most of those classes, there's a little star there, and it says Laurel Ridge resources. And if you click there, it's going to show you more information about the Canvas tutorial. So I'm going to offer you that, obviously. It's going to talk about Microsoft 365 and Google and some of the other applications that you have access to. It'll also tell you about something called Respondus, which is a remote proctoring application that many of our faculty will use, that helps to make sure that students are practicing academic integrity when taking exams and they're not Googling other web pages while they're in the middle of an exam. If you hear your instructor talk about Respondus, remember that word, and you can go and look at the Laurel Ridge resources. Remember, bottom left-hand corner in any Canvas course, and you can read more about Respondus. And sometimes there will also be a requirement to use a camera for monitoring during an exam, or your instructor may require that you, or may give you the option of coming to one of our testing center locations in order to take your exam, where you can kind of bypass all of that technology at home with Respondus, and you can just come there and take a test in our live proctored environment with a member of the testing staff to ensure that you are practicing academic. So that is another thing that is that the Laurel Ridge resources will provide you information on through that. And a whole lot of other things that I probably have forgotten or just don't have time to dip into, but I would love to talk more with you one-on-one if you have questions about college computing or any of the other or anything that we talked about this evening. Please make an appointment to come see me. Remember, go to Navigate Student, check appointments or click on appointments and make new appointment. And tutoring and academic support will give you all of the options for tutors. college computing is probably my #1 subject or topic, and I would love to see you. I think that's going to do it, and I'm going to stop and take a breath. And I would love to hear some questions from you or some feedback from you. So don't be shy. Turn on that microphone and turn on your camera too, if you want. And let's chat a little bit about what you learned, maybe some questions that you still have.
I had a question about the parking and stuff. It's kind of like, I don't know, how soon could you get stuff for parking or like your student ID and stuff like that?
So if you are registered,
Mm-hmm.
if you have applied and you are, an official student and you're in that process, then now is the perfect time to get your student ID. Visiting one of the campuses at Middletown or the Fauquier campus, Luray Page may also do this kind of on a walk-in basis, but their staff, the center is a little smaller there and staff is a little more sparse, but definitely at Fauquier or Middletown, you can walk in and just request that from our campus police station. And they will take your photo and take your information and get that for you. So you can do that at any time, Michaela.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, when I say anytime, I wouldn't walk in at like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Most daytime hours will be just fine.
Okay.
How about you, Haley? Any questions?
No, I think you did a really great job explaining everything.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. How about you, Chris? Any questions? Anything that you noticed that I left out or that I should have taken more time with? I am way open to your recommendations.
No, you covered it very thoroughly. And actually, that's most of the stuff we are going to hit at New Student Welcome Day.
Yes.
Fantastic. One thing I did want to, maybe you could elaborate on for the Respondus lockdown for tests. Are there specific classes that use that? I know that kind of freaks students out when they hear that they're going to be monitored when they're taking a test.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's really not a thing, honestly. Many of our instructors in the past, before we were using Respondus as a remote proctoring application, many instructors had their students come to take nearly every exam in our testing center where the testing staff are watching and just ensuring that no materials were allowed. And if you weren't supposed to have a calculator, you didn't have a calculator, just all of those basic kind of things. Now with Respondus, and I really can't say which classes use that, it's very random. So, I can't even say more English classes than math or more science classes than history. There's just really no, it's very, very, very random. But if if the instructor is using Respondus or requesting that the student use Respondus, it's really not that difficult or that big of a deal. There is an application that downloads to your computer, that Respondus lockdown browser. When you access your course, and when you go to the quiz or the assessment, there is a link there. You click and it opens or downloads the lockdown browser. And all that really does is lock down your browser. So the only thing you're able to access from then on is the quiz or assessment. Once you hit submit, then everything's back to normal. It doesn't do anything crazy to your computer or anything like that. It just kind of freezes everything out except the Canvas page for the time that you're in the exam. When the instructor uses or requires the use of Monitor, it does just that. It monitors you. Now, there's no creepy person looking at you through your computer or anything like that. It's really just kind of recording you. So it will tell you, it'll give you instructions like, hold up your student ID to the camera. So let's say if this was my student ID, I would hold that up so you could see that and kind of match that with my face. And then, or be able to. it will record that. Again, nobody's watching you live to do that. It's just recording. So show your ID, okay, great. And then show your testing environment. So if you have a laptop, you kind of, you kind of pick it up, you kind of turn it around to show that there's no one else hiding in the corner to give you the answers to your test. Or anything like that. You kind of, tilt your computer a little to show your area that you don't have any papers or crib notes hiding there. And that's it. That's all there is to it. So what this is all recorded, and then your faculty member has the ability to go back and look at the recording. Now, the faculty member doesn't have time to look at every single recording, but they randomly will check, and you never know who which person. Also, if someone enters the room behind you, the computer will automatically flag your recording so that your faculty will go and say, okay, who was coming in the room? Or if the microphone picks up noise of someone else speaking while you're taking your test, a flag will show up. And the faculty or the teacher then will look at your recording to see who's speaking or what's being said. So in that sense, I know it feels a little strange to know that you're being recorded, but it's not really a big deal. As long as you are following the rules of academic integrity and testing at home with no help from anyone else in a quiet, distraction-free environment, you're good. Shouldn't have any problem whatsoever.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right. Anybody else have any questions for Sonia? You have her right here. All right. Well, if nobody has any questions, I will thank you, both of you, for attending. Sonia, thank you for presenting this evening. And then also, just as a reminder, we hope to see you at New Student Welcome Day, either at Luray, Fauquier, or Middletown. Both Sonia and I will be there, so you can see us in person. And then one final thing, make sure that you go to laurelridge.edu/summer series for attending tonight's session. Fill out your form and you're entered for a $100 Visa gift card. Make sure you do that before August 15th, and we will announce our winners on the first day of class.
Woohoo, that's awesome.
Yep,
Good
money,
news.
free money.
Yes, good luck to both of you in winning that gift certificate. And thank you again for hanging out with me for a little while. I hope to see you at New Student Welcome Day at one of the locations or around campus. My office is, I'm generally at either Middletown or Fauquier. If you ask for me, most people know where to find me. I'm in the tutoring center typically, or in the testing center. So track me down if you have questions, make an appointment through Navigate. I'd be so happy to spend some more time with you and help you on your way to being a successful Laurel Ridge graduate. Have a great night.